Howdy! Welcome to Aspire Mountain Academy. I'm Professor Curtis, your instructor for this course in Introductory Statistics. In less than 10 minutes, this video provides more practice in using StatCrunch to make and select the best multiple regression model. Let's get started. Okay, so all you dog lovers out there, you're just going to have to just kind of waddle through this a little bit because I'm a confirmed and unapologetic cat lover. So if I make some, disparaging yet truthful remarks about dogs, you're just gonna have to bear with me because I can't help it. I love cats. It's just who I am. So here in our example problem, we've got 35 random groups of 1 to 8 people, and they were asked if they preferred cats or dogs. Possible answers are none, cats, dogs, or both. Notice how we're converting this categorical data into quantitative data by assigning numbers to each of these different possible answers. So we're going to say none is 0, cats are 1, because cats are number 1, dogs are 2, and of course both will be 3 because 1 plus 2 makes 3. That's kind of cute. Everyone in each individual group has the same gender. Okay, and of course we're going to use a dummy variable here, male and female. This time we're going to say the males are 0 and the females are 1. Again, it doesn't matter with the dummy variable which way you go with it. It just matters that you're consistent with however you define it. Here's what we're asked. Can the number of people in the group and their gender be used to predict whether the members of that group prefer cats or dogs? So we're going to answer these questions here by making and comparing different multiple linear regression models. So the first question is, what is the predicted preference for a group of 5 men? What is the predicted preference for a group of 5 women? And then we compare the results from those two questions and answer this question, does the model produce reliable predictions? So here we go. Let's tackle these one at a time. First question is, what is the predicted preference for a group of 5 men? As we've seen previously, StatCrunch doesn't have an automated calculation feature for predictions with multiple linear regression models. So we've got to calculate this stuff, the old school way. And that means, doing everything by hand. So we can make the model in StatCrunch, but then to actually get the prediction out, we've got to actually take the model and do the prediction calculating out by hand. So here's our model that we're making for predicting whether the group likes cats or dogs. And we can list that out here. So the preference is going to be equal to this behemoth here. And then all we have to do is just get the values for the variables that are independent, and we put those in, and we get the value for the variable that is dependent, which is the preference. That's what comes out of the model. The model, of course, was taken from that top portion of our results table right there at the top. So we put in the values for what we know. Our group size is 5, and the gender, they're all men, so the gender is going to be equal to 0 because that's how we defined it at the start. We then calculate out a preference of 1.7272, which, since you're going to round that off, because the results that we're getting for preferences, they're all whole numbers. So we round that off to 2, and we see that 2 corresponds with dogs, and so we're predicting that the group is going to lean towards preferring dogs. The second question that we were asked was to repeat the same calculation for a group of 5 women. So now instead of 5 men, we've got 5 women. So we go through the same process where we make our model and we can extract that out from our results table there at the top. We can plug in the values that we know. This time we've got a 1 for gender because we're looking at a group of women and not men. We punch out everything there and the math comes out 1.8331, which then means that we have, another prediction where the group was leaning toward dogs. So if we compare the results from those first two answers that we're looking at there, so if we've got 5 gentlemen in the group, then the group is going to predicted to prefer dogs. If the group is composed of 5 ladies, then the prediction is also that those ladies will prefer dogs. So no matter what the gender of the group is, the prediction is going to be the same. It's going to predict that the group prefers dogs. So how reliable is this model in making predictions? Well, the answer is not very reliable, since it says everyone prefers dogs. Now, I'm not just saying this because I'm a cat lover. I'm saying this because it doesn't matter what we assign the variables to be. It's always going to predict that, whether you're looking at men or women, they're always going to prefer the same thing. And, well, that's typically not the case. We should see some variation there. I'm actually surprised. I mean, listen, I've known a lot of lady dog lovers in my life, but I've also known far more lady cat lovers in my life. So the fact that this model is just telling you the same thing, no matter what you put into it, kind of makes it suspect. So consider the range of possible responses from the model, okay? So let's say, the minimum values that we could have to put into the model would be from a group of 8 men. Because from the way that the original problem was set up, the most you could have in a group would be 8 people. And since men were assigned the dummy value of 0, then that means it's going to have the lower value for that variable. So we put those into the model and we get 1.5, which rounds up to 2. If we put maximum variable values into our equation, it would be a group of just 1 woman. And when we do that math, we come out with a predicted value of 2.13, which rounds down to 2. So no matter what you put into this model, no matter the size of the group, no matter the gender of the group, it's always going to predict that the preference is for dogs. Well, every possible response is dogs. I mean, how realistic is that? Come on. I mean, cat lovers of the world, unite. We're going to go on strike against the people that made this model because it's patently unfair. It's also a very bad model because it's just telling you the same thing. Now, I'd be saying the same thing if this model was predicting cats. Of course, I wouldn't be as inclined to look for the errors in the model because I'm like, hey, everyone loves cats. That's what I want to hear. But the fact that the model's giving you the same thing, no matter what you put into it, that should be a big red flag that you don't have a very good model here. So we're going to say this is a bad model. And that brings us to the end of this mini lecture. I hope you found it helpful. You can find more mini lectures for this and other courses at AspireMountainAcademy.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.